I am Dr. Sunil Sawant, Professor and Head, Department of English, Kishanvir Mahavidyalaya Y. The topic of my presentation is Nature of Literary Criticism. What is literary criticism? Now, this term combines two words, literary criticism. Now, criticism, this word comes from critic. Criticism is something that is produced by some critic. A critic is a person who has deeper knowledge, deeper understanding of some phenomenon. Such a person, what he produces, what he composes, what he writes can be called criticism. And this is again literary criticism. This criticism is exclusively concerned with literature. Hence, it is called literary criticism. Criticism can be about any art, any fine art. You can write critical writing about architecture, sculpture, painting, music, and of course literature. In this presentation, we are mainly concerned with criticism that deals with literature. Now, there are different definitions available of literary criticism. So, the concept literary criticism we can understand through different definitions provided by different authorities, by different critics. Atkins, this critic, for example, he defines criticism as the play of the mind on the aesthetic qualities of literature, having for its object an interpretation of literary values. Atkins wants to say that criticism provides us the knowledge about the artistic, aesthetic qualities of literature. Sainsbury, another critic, he has his own way of defining criticism. According to him, criticism has to do with the goodness or badness, the success or ill success of literature from the purely literary point of view. Purely artistic point of view has been expected by Sainsbury while writing criticism. Edmund Goss has his own way of explaining what we mean by criticism. Criticism is a published analysis, is a written analysis of the qualities and characteristics of a work of literature or fine art. Another critic is Fingan. He highlights three important questions, three different areas that have been covered by literary criticism. What has the artist tried to express? How has he succeeded in expressing what he has tried to express? And was it worth expressing? These are the three important questions raised by Spingarn. The answers to these three questions give us what is called literary criticism. T.S. Eliot has his own way of telling us about criticism. According to him, criticism is the commendation and exposition of works of art by means of written words. Again, the focus is on a written medium. Criticism most of the times reaches the reader in the form of writing. Walter Pater, he highlights the role of interpretation that has been covered by criticism. Whereas René Wellek, he covers so many diverse things that can come under literary criticism. Judgment of books, reviewing, the definition of taste, of the tradition of what is a classic. Now, Wordsworth gives us one more definition of criticism. He says criticism is the exercise of judgment in the province of art and literature. Again, the focus is on judgment, that is judging the value, judging the merit, judging the quality of a work of art. Middleton Murray, he says the function of true criticism is to establish a hierarchy among the great artists of the past as well as to test the production of the present. Now, this is a very important addition to know about literary criticism. Literary criticism can play two important roles in the world of literature. It can give us the entire tradition of the great artists of the past, and some people have tried to write about the great tradition in literature. Some critics have tried to give us the canon, what is called the canon of literature, and most of the times we find Sophocles, Shakespeare, John Milton, William Wordsworth, such great names figure in that tradition of literature. Then Abercrombie, he has tried to explain what we mean by literary criticism, and he says criticism does what? It enables the man who has the energy to create literature to make the most intelligent and therefore the most efficient use of his energy. So criticism can help the poet, the novelist, the dramatist, to the artist to produce most intelligent kind of, the most efficient kind of literature. So criticism can help the readers. In the same way, it can help the writers, the creative writers. And further he says criticism enables the man who has the capacity to enjoy literature to make his enjoyment the most intelligent and therefore the most discriminating and the most illuminating kind of experience. So what Abercrombie says here about criticism is this, that literary criticism has something to give to the readers as well as to the writers, to the authors. George Watson, according to him, criticism presupposes an open society, a democratic society. Criticism is possible in that kind of society where you have the exchange of ideas, and it is one of the conditions by which such a society survives. So criticism exists where? Where we have open society, democratic kind of society. It cannot survive under the totalitarian state or under dictatorship. Webster's New International Dictionary has given its own definition of literary criticism. Criticism is the art of judging or evaluation with knowledge and propriety the beauties and faults of work of art or literature. So this is a very comprehensive kind of definition. It has something to do with judging, but how? With knowledge, with depth, with propriety. What? The merits as well as demerits of works of art or literature. So criticism praises where there are beauties, where there are merits, and criticism also attacks. Criticism can find faults of works of art. Now Carlyle, the final definition about criticism is this: criticism stands like an interpreter between the inspired and the uninspired, between the prophet and those who hear the melody of his words and catch the glimpse of their material meaning but understand not their deeper importance. So some people who are uninspired that way, who are common, they may fail to understand deeper meaning of some poem. Thank you very much.